Okay guys, so this is a little bit of an unusual video, and let me get straight into it. So these are the platforms that I have been involved with over the last 12 months, okay? And you'll see in the list a number of different platforms and some that you may have been involved with too. And they all have one thing in common: they've all scammed out, okay? And you can see how long they've lasted, the amount I've invested, the amount I've withdrawn, and the amount of profit or lack of profit, should I say, in most of them. And overall, I've lost about $990, okay? And I just want to point out, in the same period, in that same time, I have also been in other platforms, okay, and two of them are below here, and that's Arbistar and My Passive Trades, and I've made profit in both of them, and they're still running, and they are what I class as a very stable platform. So overall, yeah, I haven't made a massive profit, but I have made a slight profit, and the experiment is still going on, okay, not to the levels I was expecting it, and it's like anybody, you invest money into these platforms, you know the risks involved, okay, but you still put money into them because you get that like fear of missing out, or that, you know, shiny object syndrome, or, you know, you can just see the percentages that you can make and you think, yeah, I'm going to make a huge amount of money, and in reality they normally scam out, okay. So I wanted to try and eliminate that as much as possible, and make my decision making much better, okay. So I devised a checklist that I'm going to use from now on, and from that checklist determine whether a platform is viable or not to invest in. So I'm going to show you that checklist now, and if anybody wants that checklist, they can get hold of me, and I'm be more than happy to send that checklist to them so you can use it too. Okay, so here's the checklist. Very simple, just some questions that I've put in here and determining yes or no answers, and it's going to give me a point score that I've devised, and if it hits a pass mark of 7 or over, I'm going to invest into it. If it's between 3 and 6, it's risky but worth a punt, and I'm going to analyze it a little bit further, and below 3, it's an avoid, okay. Now this is just my personal checklist. I'm not saying that if it hits a 7 or over, go and whack as much money as you can into this platform, okay. I'm not saying that. It's still a risk involved, okay. This is crypto, okay. This is investing. There is still a risk, but the reason I've done the checklist is to try and eliminate as much of that risk as possible, okay, and make decisions based on data rather than based on look at the percentages, look at what I can make, and fear of missing out, okay. So, you know, basically get your figures right rather than letting your head make those decisions, okay. Right, so first of all, I'm just going to do a quick example of the checklist in action, and I'm going to use Arbistar, and then afterwards we're going to actually do the same thing on a platform that I'm currently looking at, that I've was shown today. So let's do Arbistar first. So we're just simply going to answer these questions. It's very simple. Transparent. So Arbistar is extremely transparent. So we're going to say yes to that. Proof of trading. Yes, they show proof of trading on their website, the arbitrage deals that they're performing. Daily ROI above 1.2%. Okay, it isn't. On Arbistar, it varies. Okay, I think the max is around about 1%, but it basically, with Arbistar, it's you make whatever they make. Okay, obviously it's divided up, but if they've only made 1% that day, you're only going to make a percentage of that 1%. If they've made 0.68%, likewise. Okay, so it's very rarely above it's above 1%, let alone 1.2. So the answer is simply no. Okay. Domain register, has it been registered for more than a year, or has it got a year, longer than a year to run on the registration? Okay, the answer is yes. Running time older than 4 months, the answer is yes to that. MLM, is there more than 2 levels? And I think there is more than 2 levels, so it's going to get a minus score for that. Okay, and locking period minimum 60 days. So is it less than 60 days? And the answer is yes. It's yes. So that scored an 8. Okay, so the pass mark is a 7 or over. So with that, we scored an 8 on Arbistar. So it would be a pass. Now, again, this is just my checklist, and that is a pass. So I would invest into it, and it's been going for 12 months. So obviously that checklist is working correctly. Okay, so let's go and have a look at something else that I've been sent the information on, and it's called Profit Bots. And the first question here is it transparent? So let's go over to the website and find out if it's transparent. I've done a little bit of research already, and if I scroll down here in the About Profits, we get a nice line here. There is no CEO owner of Profits. We are a group of tech guys who are not interested in revealing our identities. Okay, that is clearly not transparent. So we're going to put in a big no for that. Proof of trading. Again, I looked on the website. There is no proof of trading. Okay, so I'm going to put a no for that. Daily ROI above 1.2%. Looked around the website, couldn't see it anywhere, and then I watched this short video and it comes in around about 2%. So it is above 1.2. Domain register more than 1 year old. Again, I went to who is, okay, and I looked, and it was created on the 24th of March 2019. It expires in 2020, so it's not more than a year. Okay, it won't last more than a year, so it's a no. Running time older than 4 months. Again, on this it was difficult because it said 229 days. Now you would think possibly that it's been running for 229 days, so I went to Wayback Machine and no information. So the answer is no. MLM, more than 2 levels. Well, the answer to this is it hasn't got more than 2 levels, so it actually gets a point. And then locking period minimum 60 days. Again, there is it covers on the locking period, so let's say yes, and it gets another point. So the score for that was -3. Okay, it didn't pass at all. So I would not be investing into that platform. Okay, now it could have changed if there was certain things. So if it was transparent, for example, and there was proof of trading, it would have still given me a score of 3. Okay, and then I would then look at it and say risky but worth a punt, and basically you would look at the negatives and weigh them up. And a good one for me is always the daily ROI. Okay, so if that was a daily ROI of like 1.3%, yeah, it's above 1.2, but it's not massively. Now, if it's a daily ROI of 10% or 8% or something like that, then again, use your common sense. Okay, so this is not 100% go by what that checklist says. Do a little bit more deeper research. If that had come up as a 3 and this was at a 1.3%, I'm looking at the domain register 1 year, and the running time hasn't been running that long. But then again, other platforms you may have looked at, like Arbistar, may have not been running that long when you looked at them. Okay, so you have to weigh it up. It's just a checklist. So I would have possibly put a tiny amount in to test the water, okay, but it didn't pass all of those, okay. It was a minus, so I wouldn't have invested into this platform. Okay, I'm going to do one last one, and that is purely based on the list that I have here, just to see really if I'd have had the checklist, would I have invested in these platforms if I had had the checklist, okay. So let's look at Nova Chain at the top. Was it transparent? Well, yes, it was. We knew quite a bit of detail. Proof of trading, yes, it had proof of trading. Daily ROI above 1.2%. It fluctuated up and down. So it was a no really for that. Domain register more than 1 year. I think it was. Running time older than 4 months. No. LMM multi-level. I think it did have multi-level. And locking period minimum 60 days. Again, I don't think it did. I think it did. Sorry, have. It was below 60 days. Okay, so it got a 6 on the scale. So it didn't have that pass mark. Okay, but it was on a 6, so it's on the high end of worth a punt. So I would have probably invested into this platform. Okay, but yeah, it did scam out. You can see it there. So guys, that's really it on the video. I just wanted to show you that checklist and show you how I basically get an idea if it's a platform that I'm gonna give a go or not. Even if I give it a go, I'm fully aware that there are high risks involved with anything. Okay, so I still don't whack a fortune into them. Thanks for watching the video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Again, if you want this checklist, let me know and I'll be more than happy to send this to you so you can use it as well, to give you some kind of idea of the opportunities that you've been presented or looking at, if they are worth it or not. Thanks for watching.